Hey everyone, welcome to JoJo's World.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is morning.
It's morning.
Is it?
And a good morning to you.
Oh, so it is. It's really early in the morning.
It's not that early.
It's so early. It's like morning early.
It's 10:30 a.m., listeners.
Oh, that's before 11.
This is not good audio.
Anything before 11.
I'm Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Ballantyne, the other one of the co-hosts.
This is, of course, JoJo's World, our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast, where today we are talking about episodes 47 and 48 of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Nick,
Yes.
the Cosmos Sagan, it's Helgen Sinselin.
Helgen Sinselin?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Isn't it Helgen
I
Spielen?
don't care.
I care. It's about the details of war, you know?
The Cosmos Sinsel, Helgen Sagan.
Helgen Sagan sounds about right.
Cosmos Sinsel.
Cosmon Spielsen?
There's just no way for us to know
Look.
or to check this right now.
The only way to know is by reading it, and we can't read.
That should be evident by now, listener.
Listen, we're from Australia, and if there's one thing I know about Australians...
School refusal is up.
Exactly. And we are in the generation, because we're cool and hip, that are going to school right now.
Yeah, we're chuggy.
We're what?
Don't worry about it.
Gotcha.
It's just not worth it.
No, it never is. But you know what is worth it, Liam? Our Patreon.
I'm always saying this.
Our Patreon is a great place filled with great, beautiful people.
Patreon.com/JoJo's World. Subscribe for $10 a month, and you can get benefits such as...
This show.
That's right.
That's kind of it, because we're not doing the other things. It's clearly marked on the page.
I'll give you a big kiss on the lips for $50 a month.
How far away will you be when giving this kiss? Is
Well,
it like
I'm not travelling to them.
Oh, okay. So it's a blown kiss in an envelope.
That's not what I said.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know who you're going to have to be giving a kiss today? Aditya Kumar.
Aditya Kumar, thank you for signing up to the Patreon.com/JoJo's World.
He's a top tier lad. Or lass, I don't know. But either way, Aditya Kumar.
And it was wrong of you to assume one way or the other.
It's true. It could be they.
Thank you, Aditya Kumar. What do we have to say? Let me count the ways I respect you for giving us money. 1. Patreon.com/JoJo's World. That's one of the ways that you did it. Thank you.
What's the second way?
You slipped a 50 into my wallet when I was desperately in need, and you said, "Here, this'll get you some health potions, bub."
Oh, is that who that was? Oh.
So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I just sort of like looked at them, and then they looked at me, and we briefly exchanged a moment. And then they just sort of
A
ran.
moment. Maybe respect. Maybe yearning. Impossible to say.
Yeah. I think less on
In
the
the
yearning.
night.
Less on the yearning, more of like the anti-pickpocketing.
Anyway, this is improv and this is fiction, and that's what podcasting is.
Look, this is all about strong, powerful comedy.
Nick,
Yes.
it has been 3 weeks actually, because you were sick and we delayed recording,
As you could probably hear.
and one episode since we talked about the JoJo Day
Oh, yeah.
and the announcement of the Steel Ball Run.
Big news.
And we left on the promise that next time, i.e. this time, I would ask you what you know or think you know about what happens in Steel Ball Run.
Okay.
Please, tell me what you know or think you know about what happens in Steel Ball Run.
You've got a look in your eyes right now of like, go on.
Go on.
Go on, tell me.
Come on, walk into this store. It's not trapped. Pick up the sandwich. It's delicious.
So I've
No poison here, Nick.
been getting quite a few Patreon messages that are just like, dude, Steel Ball Run. Let's fucking
The
go.
people are hungry for the Steel Ball Run.
They really are. Then immediately followed by, anyway, here's this other random thing so that you don't get spoiled. And I'm like,
Anyway,
okay,
here are my thoughts on Shah Aznavour.
We have gotten...
I watched the first episode of OG Gundam the other day, and I'm planning on watching more.
Well, what do you think about Char so far?
Well, he's only very briefly in it, but I figure he's like a kind of Red Baron type.
Where he'll become far more, shall we say, consequential later.
That's not what I was driving at all, but
He'll become
you
far
know,
more
he's the
rich?
rival pilot. He drives a red ship. You know World War I fighter race ship.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Red
yeah.
Baron.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, that's how they're kind of constructing him to my mind.
Yeah, so he'll show up and be all like, you fucking idiots. You messed with the wrong
I thought it was
Aznavour."
very funny in the first Gundam episode that basically the way Amuro, the protagonist, the young boy who will become a child soldier,
Wait, but he's a young boy already. That means he could...
He basically, because of an invasion on their planet, you think it's a planet the whole time, but turns out it's actually like one of those, those ships that are built on the interior of a,
like a Dyson sphere kind of situation.
What they're called?
It's either sun in middle, big sphere.
I don't think there's a sun, but it's like a big, not a sphere, a tube.
Tube. Oh, like there's like a wheel kind of situation.
Yeah,
there's like big hub, and then you got spokes that come out, and then the wheel, and it's all like a big tube that rotates to give.
Nick's doing a lot of signals with his hand right now.
So my hand's in the middle. But, like, it's like a wheel.
Nick, we're coming up to 300 episodes, and you're still doing visual bits.
Listen, this is me talking to you, talking to them, okay?
Are you talking Gundam to me? So basically, long story short.
Yes.
He,
I love how this went from, Nick, can you explain Steel Mill Run 2? Let me explain Gundam.
We're nesting, but we're gonna dig out for each layer, just like Inception.
So, Gundam.
Okay, yeah. So, like, a couple of enemy mechs from the Principality of Xeon invade their space that you think is a planet. And he like leaves the shelter he's taking shelter in just in time for it to be exploded, and then the military guys who are driving by are also exploded. And flying free from the wreckage of their car is the manual on how to drive the Gundam, and he's running, which is a secret weapon that's just being developed.
Okay.
And he's running around holding it for like most of the episode, and then he, one thing leads to another, and he ends up in the cockpit of the Gundam, and he opens the manual and teaches himself how to drive it with the manual, and then immediately kills two guys with it.
So hang on, the Gundam right now is an experimental weapon.
Yeah.
But everyone else has Gundam?
So, okay, basically the exposition is that Earth is at war with the Principality of Xeon, which is like a space colony that's gone rogue.
Yep.
And the Principality has developed their own mobile suits, and the Gundam is like the first iteration of
their own
Earth
kind of
team mobile suits.
Gotcha.
Is what I've gathered.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny in the first episode, one like military bigwig character was like, with the development of the mobile suit, we might be able to put an end to this war before we have to rely on child soldiers. And the first episode of Child Soldiers Drive Mechs, the franchise, confidently declaring this. Man could not be more wrong.
Yeah. So Steel Ball Run. It's about a guy named, I want to say Joey. Because
I thought you were really seriously going to declare a guy named, I want to say Jojo.
Well, I mean, it's going to be Joey Josen, maybe?
Josen?
Well, I mean, it's going to be Joestar, but like...
Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo.
So, maybe it's Joey... Okay, here's what I think it is. It's something like in the Wild West, because I think at one point in time you told me that...
I have on this podcast told you the broad concept before, but that was, I'm going to say...
greater than the span of my memory allows.
I'm going to say that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember a single fucking thing. So, Wild West, there's a guy on a horse. I want to say he's either a robot or he's disabled.
A robot user.
Because he doesn't have legs.
Sure. Hang on. I need you to unpack that a bit.
So
he's a robot or disabled because he doesn't have legs. Speak on that. What do you mean?
So Joey's his best friend.
No, answer my question.
So I think I've seen vaguely in like one of the fighting games a guy on a horse, but he never gets off the horse.
Right.
So either the horse is a robot that he's connected to.
Oh, like that one Gundam.
Yeah, I guess. Or like any... weird cyborg thing.
Is a robot. I mean, Stroheim, nothing. There's precedent for anything you want, really.
Exactly. Or he's disabled because, like, his legs don't work. He's like, I use this horse to get around, kind of deal. Because Wild West, why not? There's, I want to say the reason why Joey is important is because he really likes baseball.
Because it's American.
I'm
big American. I love baseball. Yahoo.
Was America...
Yahoo yeehaw.
Was baseball a thing in the Wild West? Doesn't matter. It's America. His dream is to become the...
Now, hang on. Are you asserting that this Joey character, that he is the paraplegic character, or is that one of his sidekicks?
No, that's his sidekick.
Okay.
Because Joey has full mobility, because he's a Joestar. So therefore he has full control over like his stand and everything. Oh, and they all have stands, even though stands weren't introduced until the 1980s. But stands.
Yeah, I mean, I've made no secret at the end of Stone Ocean that this is a new continuity, so you don't need to worry about anything like that.
Yeah. Oh god, how do I even think about this?
I don't know how to even think about this.
Well, it's like
Tim Robinson dialogue.
It's like trying to get into the mind of Araki is like becoming a minotaur in a labyrinth and trying to make your way
lost
out.
forever.
But like with a labyrinth skill.
No, get focused.
Yeah.
Nick.
So
don't bring up my thing with minotaurs.
So I'm trying to think of like the 4 people that are going to be the main characters.
Sure.
Here. There's Joey. There's Horse Guy. There's
Joey Horse Guy.
I want to say a man who wears like a white mask on his face at all times.
Is this something you're making up? Is this just wild speculation, or are you?
Well, of course it's wild speculation, but I think at some point, like, I have enough anime characters that I know.
Are you thinking of Shah Aznavour from Gundam?
Oh. I reckon at some point in anime, everyone started having like white face masks or white thing.
And I know who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
You are thinking of
Venom from Guilty Gear.
What's his fucking name? From Metabots. The Phantom Thief, who is secretly the guy who works at the convenience store, who wears a white mask with like red dots for eyes.
And always like runs off
at
the most opportune times to be like, who was that strange man? And then you go back to the convenience store and he's hiding.
And he's got like a band-aid on his head where the mysterious thief hit their head or whatever. Sorry, you were saying.
So there's going to be a guy, I'm talking more like full square.
A neutral mask. No face features.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it has like a symbol on it or something in the middle. 4th character, I want to say it'll be a female, but realistically speaking, we've had like 3 females in all of JoJo's.
Name them.
Lisa. What's her name from part 4?
Yukako.
And true female prison. So a lot of female characters. I was really
curious if you were going to acknowledge Stone Ocean or if you were just going to say Trish.
I kind of forgot that they're all women.
Well, I mean, up until that point, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Basically, if it's a part with a male character.
Remember
as the lead.
such compelling female characters as unnamed runaway girl.
Who the from part 3?
Yeah.
Who? Oh yeah, strength. True. Ugh. So yeah, I want to say more realistically, the 4th character who has to be the Polnareff stand-in of like comedy kind of guy.
Okay, sure.
He's gonna be. I want to say he's gonna be like the Elvis. Because again, we're in America.
He's gonna be like the Elvis.
Where he's got like big hair.
I watched Top Secret recently.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about on the pod before. But I wasn't 100% sure this was the movie that I thought it was. It's both a parody of Cold War spy movies and Elvis movies.
A parody of Elvis movies?
Elvis movies were a thing.
Yeah, like back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good watch. Val Kilmer, R.I.P. But as I've recounted on the podcast before, it famously culminates in an underwater cowboy saloon fight sequence. And it's just such fun.
Yeah.
Such a visually comedically dense movie. They don't make them like that anymore.
What do they make now?
I don't know. Tag? Haven't seen it.
Tag. Who's going to go watch Tag when you can watch JoJo's Bizarre
Tell me
Adventure?
about the Elvis of it all. So, much like with what you think Big O is about, you're obsessed with inserting Elvis characters into anime.
No, because this is in the Wild West. So, there's a guy...
Famously where Elvis was from.
Yeah, so there's going to be a guy who has hair that's like forward and
like
up.
Josuke.
No, Josuke is like Pomp, right? He's got like big like tube hair, right? Like his hair is a big circular thing that's like popping out. It's like,
yep.
I'm doing a limp arm motion here. This guy's got like wavy front, like an antenna, but like hair, you know?
Okay.
Like forward up.
Sure.
And it might be white. I'm not sure yet. But that's my initial thought, is that it has these 4 characters.
Yep.
Joey wants to become the best at something. I don't know what that something is, and I don't think it's baseball.
What do you think the name Steel Ball Run refers to?
Steel bat, baseball, run bases.
Okay. Oh, that's a baseball.
But now that I think about it, that's a really bad idea to base it on.
I don't think you're allowed to have a horse play baseball.
He
can't do runs because he's paraplegic, so he needs the horse.
He's the pitcher. They don't have to run.
Not even the catcher.
No, he's not going to be the cat. Why would he be the catcher? You got to throw it in the box. You know that rule in baseball? You got to throw it in the box.
Yeah, so
How's he going to catch it if the horse is standing above the box?
Oh, he's on the horse while he's catching.
Because he doesn't have any legs. Of course he's going to be on the horse. You've missed this crucial aspect of this character. So I don't know what he wants to be the best at, but he's going to drag these three along with him to become the best.
Okay.
And at first, two of them are going to be like, you know what? That's a great dream. I want to come in. And the other one's going to be like, I don't want to do that. And then slowly but surely, every episode where he keeps showing up, be like, oh,
I'll defeat him in baseball and
I'll reluctantly join.
Okay, what else do I want to ask you about this amazing little piece of fiction you're constructing? Any stand powers that you think are worth raising, or other powers even?
Something tells, because each part we've kind of been getting more and more abstract, right? So part 3, very concrete, I make fire. Part 4, little less concrete.
We don't need to.
Yeah. And then in part 6, what the fuck, right? So part 7 might just be, hey, my stand makes color different or something, where it's like super abstract, and then Araki's imagination will run wild with it. But like, it's gonna be weird, like really weird stand powers that are like, you know, either like, hey, the condition for this thing to work is that I have to be unconscious, but also I have to have set this thing up beforehand.
Oh, like
and
Batman
only then
from Guilty Gear.
Yeah, and it's like only under these circumstances will this work. Or, oh yeah, I have to be electrified. That's why I carry around a car battery with me at all times, because it's the Wild West. So
okay, I think we're done here.
Yeah, just weird stuff like that.
And is there any main thrust of plot you want to speculate on? Keeping in mind you have been told all of this over the years.
Have I?
Yes.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I know that apparently it has themes. So
great. Every story has themes, Nick.
No. We know specifically from multiple parts of JoJo's.
They all have themes.
What were the themes of part 6?
I mean, obviously it's got a lot of issues with legacy.
Okay.
You know, the weight of carrying the legacy of that you've inherited from, you know, in Jolene's case, the Joestar bloodline, in Pucci's case from Dio, and trying to manifest that destiny. Ill choice of words. We've already had a part in America, Nick.
We can have another one. Because it's not going to be Britain. They don't play baseball in Britain. Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to just be themes of like, I want to be the best there ever was, but then maybe accepting that you can't be the best because otherwise it would overshadow Jonathan's greatness. I don't know.
That's a name you just said.
Yeah, Jonathan Joestar from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing him up?
Well, because if this is set in the Wild West, it's pre...
It's a different continuity.
Oh.
I already told you that today.
But you don't mean like literally a separate timeline.
I do. Like, it's a different world.
Oh, I thought you just meant we're deviating away from like son or deviating away from like daughter kind of relation.
Different family line.
You mean literally a different timeline?
Different continuity. It's different.
It's completely different.
No, that is in timeline and continuity. It's an important distinction.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, I reckon it's still going to be Joey. Like, if Jonathan shows up as, like, another iteration of himself, that'd be weird.
I'm going to have so much to say about what you just said when we get around to this show.
Yeah. I don't know. But I reckon it's going to be something like, I want to be the best, I want to be King Baseball, or, like, I want to be the best cowboy, or I want to be number 1. I want to be the Pirate King, right? Like, standard anime trope, I want to be the best.
I'm Joey Joestar.
But then given
I want to be the king of the cowboys.
Yeah. But then given that we've had 6 parts already of anime/manga that he's had to work with, maybe Araki will be like, I want to do something different. So I'm going to fuck this trope up and then deviate from it in some way.
Well, we'll find out all of that and more. But it's about time we start this episode, I think.
It's only been 22 minutes.
So about our usual, really.
Yeah. Maybe less. I don't know.
So, these 2 episodes, they are entitled In Search of a Free Universe and I think The Battle of Rantemario.
Rantemario? Something.
It doesn't matter.
It's the battle of a planet or a system. But either way...
Oh, sorry. The Two-Headed Snake. The Battle of Rantemario.
Oh my god.
Brief summary. The first episode is really about the Empire consolidating power in Fazan, Julian preparing to flee it, and then preparations for the upcoming battle. It's kind of a disjointed episode, I felt, to be honest.
It moves fast, though.
But not much, like, happens.
No.
Until the end.
One thing happens the whole episode.
And then the second episode is just all this space battle.
Yep, it's great. It's fantastic. Everything comes together. And everyone comes together.
What could that possibly mean?
Cue the Arrested Development music where it's like, but
Mr.
I could be
F.
your father. Yeah, so anyway.
Great work, Nick.
What can I say? I'm good at recounting jokes.
Yeah, too much packed into both of these episodes to have an OP in either of them.
It's popping off.
Which is why we couldn't remember what Helgensagen von Kosmosinsel was.
But it shows up in both episodes.
No, it doesn't!
It does. It's at the start. It's like Helgen's, but they're talking over it.
Well,
We're
I
like,
hadn't
whoa.
prepared my camera by that point.
So we're getting a briefing by
Lowengram.
with his, peeps.
And he's like, just as we expected, Admiral Yang has abandoned the fortress. He must have deduced that if we capture the rest of the Alliance, we could simply sue for it back in the peace treaty.
God damn. Is that part of the plan? Is this all part of the plan that we explained 5 times last week?
Some brief praise from Lowengram for Ruenthal being like, he's submitted such a factual report. Anyone else would be, praising themselves for this achievement, but he's just laying it out matter of fact. Anyway, Yang's on his way. He's probably coming here to kill me personally.
We can't have that.
No.
And if we did have it, we wouldn't.
Yep. Yulian goes for a walk. Masheng goes like, hey, you should leave your gun because they're probably going to start frisking people because they're military police. So he walks past, and then Prince Lowengram's motorcade drives past, and he immediately goes to pull out his gun from, the back of his jeans, and he's like, damn, I don't have my gun. I could have killed Lowengram right now. And then he flashes back to Yang being like, in history, occultism and terrorism have never achieved anything productive.
I just love that his immediate first thought is, oh my god, it's Lowengram. Quick, shoot him! When he has a full motorcade.
He's got a full motorcade, and his hands are full with a big, delicious baguette.
And there's guards everywhere, and there's a full-blown crowd just watching me like, Prince Lowengram, look at me. It's like the Queen going by.
What do you think of this phrase, Nick? Neither terrorism nor occultism have ever changed history in any constructive way.
When was this made again? What year?
Like the early 90s? Pre 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah, it really shows.
Why?
Well,
what was constructive about 9/11, Nick? Go.
I more mean that it sort of changed the face of...
Yeah, that's not what he's saying, though.
Oh.
Constructive. There's an important qualifier there.
Yeah, fair enough.
You've got to listen.
I can't do that. I mean, I guess so.
Occultism?
Well, now hang on a minute. Occultism has done a lot for us. We got some great H.P. Lovecraft books. Don't read too far into H.P. Lovecraft, though.
Some great Stephen King books. Don't read too much into Stephen King, though. I mean, he's doing okay. There's some stuff in his work, but
overall, he seems like a chill guy. Yeah. Clive Barker,
who's the goat.
He actually seems to be a pretty chill guy overall.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 3 things I can think of
That's
to do with occultism.
Yeah. Certainly no real world practitioners.
Yeah. We got a new pope.
It's true.
Apparently he's American?
That's true.
Yeah. Is that legal?
Chicago Pope.
Chicago Pope. That's my favourite kind of pizza.
The deep dish Pope.
The deep dish Pope.
The deep dish Pope.
I want you to drink from this deep dish.
Pontiff Sullivan of the deep dish.
Could you imagine a pope just coming out and be like, and now we eat from the deep dish pizza of Christ. And they're like, damn, this is so much better than bread.
I've already seen so many memes doing this
God.
The crust of the deep dish being the body and the substance of it being labelled the blood.
Oh God, amazing. The cheese is
really
under the sauce.
Really in tune with the zeitgeist, Nick.
What can I say?
The cheese is under the sauce.
The cheese is under the sauce.
The cheese is under the sauce.
Cheese is under the sauce.
You've got to go through the sauce to find the cheese.
Much like Christ had to be killed and resurrected, you must go through the sauce to find the cheese.
Much like Yulian had to go through Empire territory to find the Alliance.
We must go through this episode to get to the space battle. So, Yulian has his baguette. He's watching Lowengram.
He thinks about doming Lowengram in his motorcade, JFK style, but he doesn't. Because he doesn't have his gun. He doesn't even try to throw his baguette at him with lethal force.
That was
throwing it like the spear of Zeus.
Day 3 of all military training. Now, if you don't have a gun, what kind of food item have you got on you?
All right? You know, like that episode of Atlanta where
no, because I haven't seen Atlanta.
I can't
remember
the character's name, but Donald Glover's character's girlfriend, she goes AWOL while they're doing a European tour, and then they find her in France just like living an Amelie lifestyle and like seemingly not knowing who she is.
Okay.
And she's carrying a baguette around all episode, and then like some like moneylender goons or something come up to her, and she uses this stale baguette to beat the crap out of all of them.
Amazing.
And that's what I kind of think Expedition 33 is about. Because I've only watched the baguette trailer.
Oh, yeah, it's almost like that, but there's a lot more missing people as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before. I saw the baguette trailer where they're all wearing
Like the old
black
school...
and white striped shirts and red berets and carrying baguettes.
Yep.
And I really wish that's what the game was. And I know you can unlock those costumes, but it's not the same.
It's not what it is.
Yeah.
So Lohengram's in this car, and Julian's got this baguette.
I suppose we should move on, but I was spinning up my wheels for like a
Here we go.
offensively French
Here we
like,
go.
JRPG impression there.
Go on, go on.
You-
I'll
you
give it
cut-
to
you.
you.
Cut the momentum.
Liam, believe in your dreams.
He's got this baguette, the motorcade.
What does he say?
Marinesque shows up.
He's the smuggler guy.
He's the guy that Julian has contracted to smuggle them out of Fazan. And he walks up, and I immediately didn't trust this guy because he's wearing black leather gloves. And I say, never trust a man in fiction who wears black leather gloves.
Never trust anyone wearing black leather gloves, even in real life.
Well, certainly in, Australia. But like, in New
Yeah.
York or the
Europe.
winter of New York or whatever.
Actually, in Melbourne, everyone wears black gloves, now that I think about it, because they're obsessed with wearing black in Melbourne. Hot Australia take. Melbourne, which is the fanciest city in Australia in terms of arts and culture and kind of being in tune with that vibe.
Those Melburnians, they love to wear their berets, smoke a loose cigarette dangling from their lip, and they say, you've got to summon Ifrit Cloud.
We got there.
My sort of pan-European accent strikes again.
They always get a baguette every morning because they're fancy and they just demand to have everyone know that they can get a cool...
From the laneway cafes, Nick.
Exactly. They are... I don't know where this is going, but they are the most black glove wearing motherfuckers, and they are honestly the worst people to drive a car around, because much like anyone who buys a baguette and is heading home, they will just walk across the street. And they'll be like, can you not see I have a baguette?
I will destroy you with it.
Hey, I have a baguette. What are you trying to do, huh? Huh? What? You hit the baguette? Come on, get out of here. Come on, I'm walking
Trying
here.
to smoke my delicious cigarette, and you try and hit me with your car?
Hey, come on, I'm trying to walk here, huh? I'm trying to get by my little baguette. Come on, what the fuck are you doing? I'm Francois, yeah? And then... Sorry, I'm Melburnian. There we go. Sorry. I got very confused for a moment there. So
And we're all very excited about Australian Death Stranding 2.
which is literally set in Australia. So Julian and
Marinesque have a very boring conversation. And the only practical upshot of it is that Bishop Degsby, the disgraced Earth cult bishop who Rupert Kesselink ruined his life, is also going to be on their ship fleeing Fazan.
No one likes him, but everyone's concerned about him.
And Marinesque is like, hey, I'm going to go meet him for the first time, but I'm kind of freaked out. Do you want to come with? And Julian's like, I mean, I guess it beats trying to shoot Prince Lohengram.
And then we move away from that whole thing to
Yep.
Prince Lohengram.
Yeah, he's having a chat with Mariendorf, Hildegard von Mariendorf. And she basically says, like, you know, as the supreme ruler, you don't really need to fight from the front. It's probably safer for everyone if you stay and command from behind. But he's like, but Fraulein, I want to fight.
Do you not understand? When you have baguette, you do not sit down. Anyone who knows anyone French must just be going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, that's why, once again, I've injected pan-European accent. It's both less offensive and also
More versatile.
it holds us to a lower standard of quality if we insist that it's not a particular nationality.
Don't worry, it's not Spanish.
Yeah.
Hey, I eat my sardine.
I was thinking between episodes, ever since he has ascended fully to power, we've kind of moved away from the sort of dual protagonist structure of this show, and he's just the villain now.
No, he's not really a villain. He's more of a fascist dictator, but he's an okay fascist dictator, you know? He's kind of
Like Anakin Skywalker.
yeah, he's doing an alright job of being like, the people love me, you know? I'm a king, basically. But actually, I'm still just a dictator. And everyone's like, oh, you know, given how he's going, I don't know if dictatorship is bad. And all of us watching are like,
What's going on here?
he's gonna, where's the fall gonna happen? When's this
The other
gonna happen?
shoe's gonna drop.
Yeah. Kirk Ice isn't there, so some shit's
As much as
gonna...
we wish Kirk Ice was there, and we look at people who look vaguely like him and think, that reminds me of Kirk Ice.
Well, we're not up to that yet. Whoa. But everyone's like, don't go to the front, and Longgrow's like, I've got one fucking rule, all right?
It's that I get to fight.
I fight my own battles, not like these fucking nobles back home.
Mariendorf looks at him and thinks, so removing him from battle is like caging a predatory bird. So true.
Yeah.
If I'm going to hold this universe in my hands, I'd rather do it with my bare hands than through gloves, because I don't trust people who wear gloves.
Never trust gloves. If you use gloves in any capacity,
We hate you.
my respect for you goes down.
Boxers, miners,
Gardening, hitmanning.
Hitman team.
Yeah, if you do any
Risotto
of that...
Nero probably didn't wear gloves.
Well, he didn't need to because he wasn't a dick. Like, if you wear gloves, like, what the fuck are you doing?
We go back to the Dracula bar.
Oh, yeah!
Dracula bar, but come on.
The bar with the guy who's
Where
like...
all the Fazan guy. I looked up this guy's name because I've never caught it in the show. It is Will
Smith?
That's right.
Will
the Fresh
Smith.
Prince himself.
The Fresh Prince of
Sorry,
Baguette.
no, it's Carl Willock.
I can't get past this baguette bit. Anyway, Carl Willock, he's the guy
He is
who... he didn't like the fact that Fazan was being taken over,
Yeah.
but also respected after, what's his name, the smuggler guy walked in. It's like, hey, I've got a job for you. And then he explained, you know what? We're getting out of here, but Fazan is always going to be Fazan. And maybe that's bad. Maybe Fazan is weak.
I mean, that's not really what he said, but yeah, that is the guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. We all know what happened in that episode. It's fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
He's once again drinking with people complaining about the occupation, and they talk about how the High Commissioner from the Empire sold them out and is now the ostensible governor while Rubinsky's in hiding. And they say, he's a true Fazani, this commissioner. They've always said this of our country. It doesn't matter if it's your parents or your country. Sell them, but at a high price. And he says, someone says that to him. That's the common wisdom. He says, that may be so. It may be good to sell, but it's not fun to be sold. Love to sell, hate to be sold.
Truly the most wise words of this show. Also kind of depressing when you think it
Yeah.
through. But that's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing to dig into. No themes at play. Just hate to be sold, love to sell.
Yep. And then they speculate about where Rubinsky's gone, and we cut over to where Rubinsky's gone. He's hanging out with Dominique.
Oh my god, that bitch killed... No, didn't kill Kesseling. No.
Dominique is mad at Rubinsky because he killed Kesselink.
Ah, that's right.
I didn't mean to help you plot to kill your son.
Yes, well, my son
Yes,
inherited
well, he
many-
shouldn't have been so much like me then, huh, the little bitch? If
was
he
a
had been
shithead.
an artist or an academic, I would have supported him with all of my vast resources. But he wanted to be Adrian Rubinsky. And Adrian Rubinsky doesn't get fucked. Adrian Rubinsky fucks. That's the crux of it, right?
Yeah, Adrian Rubinsky doesn't get sold, he sells, And Dominic's like, oh, but that poor Degsby and that poor Kesselink. And Rubinsky's like, I know. I'm going to top up my drink now, you dumb bitch.
That's really the crux of it.
Yeah. And that's it.
He's also wearing a space bathrobe the whole time.
I was wondering what it was, because I thought it was a
It's
suit.
like a smoking jacket, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a suit, but it looks like a suit, and I couldn't quite make it out.
Oh, it is a full-length robe. You've got a wide shirt.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just a bathrobe.
Space bathrobe over a collared shirt. Strange man, Adrian Rubinsky.
Look, he is the fox that plays the
Black
fiddle.
Fox of Fazan that
Plays
plays
the
the
fiddle.
fiddle from the shadows, but rarely takes the stage himself.
Exactly.
Even more in the shadows than ever right now.
Yeah, he's just biding his time, waiting until the Empire falls.
He's also like, I might not be affiliated with the Earth Cult much longer either. Ha ha ha.
He's playing all sides so that he can win.
That's right. He really is.
Yeah, and now he's probably going to lose.
We get a wonderful shot of Yulian Mashenko and what's his name? The captain, Marinesk.
Marinesk.
Taking the space elevator up to the spaceport. We love a space elevator ever since Bubblegum Crisis.
No, we hate a space elevator.
You were saying the exact fucking opposite during the watch, and you know it.
No,
You
I
were
was saying the space elevator is a
saying-
worse version of the space hook.
No, you said the exact opposite.
Liam, you have to listen.
I am listening.
I said
you
this.
were talking about the space elevator, and you were like, so good. And I said, but the space hook. And you said, no, that's even worse.
No, I said this is a worse version of the space hook.
You really didn't.
I
promise
pointed
you.
I pointed at the TV and I said
You
this.
were all in favour of the space elevator.
Nah, space elevator sucks. I mean, well, space elevator slaps, but in comparison to a space hook,
It's a bunch
No
of big
contest.
glass tubes full of Ferris wheel carriages that they ride up to space. Am I wrong?
Ferris wheel carriages?
Am I wrong?
They're big fucking, like, what are the, you know...
Cable car carriages then.
No, you know, in hospitals, the tube things.
Yeah, the pneumatic tubes that you
Yeah.
send messages around with.
Yeah, except now you send people in them.
Yeah. It's
Because-
that, but like they're in like a sky what are those sky trams? Cable car. They're in like a cable car pod.
Yeah, with like a fully functioning restaurant.
Well, I mean, they're sitting at a table with a tablecloth with coffee. Nothing about that implies fully functional restaurant.
Well, where'd they get the coffee from?
I watched a really good episode of Columbo recently,
Okay, alright.
where the climax takes place in a cable car.
Okay.
Because the villain, who was like Andy McDowell or Roddy Dowell or some like old celebrity like that,
Yeah.
set up an exploding cigar to kill his uncle, the head of the company who wanted to sell it.
Exploding cigar.
And I thought, I read the synopsis on YouTube before I bought the episode, like as in to say like the 2-line sentence, not the full synopsis.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like Looney Tunes, you know, when they paint a stick of dynamite to look like a cigar and then it goes...
Yeah.
But no, he was rigged so that there was a fake cigar in the cigar box full of explosive, and when they opened the cigar box, like it broke
Of like a wire.
a
or
wire,
something.
and then a chemical reaction happens, and blah blah
Yep.
blah explosion. And the way Columbo gets him, spoilers for this episode of Columbo.
I'm so sorry, listener, but just go watch all of Columbo before moving on from
and
this
the
section
cigar
of the
box
podcast.
was in a car that went off a cliff, so everything was destroyed and lost.
Right.
He had a replica of the cigar box made, looking as if it had been through a car wreck and like a fire, but was still intact and unopened.
Okay.
And he got the guy who knew was the villain, because you always know who the villain is in Columbo.
Yeah, because at the start of the episode
Yeah.
they showed the crime.
And Columbo immediately deduces it upon meeting them too.
I love that he looks at him and is like,
It's literally how the show works. And so he's got a sack of evidence, and he's like, I'm gonna go see the lady of the house at the top of this hill. Let's take the cable car. And he gets the witness, the murderer, and himself in to the cable car, which takes off.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, by the way, I had something to show you. It's in this bag. Look, it's the cigar box. And he pulls out the cigar box.
Okay.
The fake replica cigar box he's had made.
Yeah.
And he keeps like smacking it as he's talking, and the guy's like visibly wincing because he thinks it's the unexploded bomb he's created.
Yeah, right.
Until Columbo eventually just opens it and it spills everywhere, and the guy freaks out that he thinks they're all going to explode in a minute. And that's how they get him.
So the whole deal
He
of
was
it...
exploded by his own bomb.
Ah, I get it now. I get it now. But he didn't explode.
No, but he was arrested for murder.
And isn't that the real bomb
Yeah.
that explodes right on you?
We love Columbo here, folks.
One more thing. About that gold.
About that legend of the Galactic hero.
About that gold flowing hair of yours. So, Julian's getting smuggled.
Yeah. Marinesque, Julian, Mashengo, and a bunch of Earth Cult peeps wearing the Terror is my mother, Terror is my hand, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Strips of paper are all going through the spaceport, and he's like, hey, don't tell anyone we're going to Alliance Space, he says, audibly to a large group of people.
Yep. They
But I just love it.
effortlessly...
Everyone there is in their normal civvy clothes, and then Bishop Degsby is just in the crowd in his evil wizard garb.
Now, no one tell anyone that we're going to Earth, okay? No one say anything. Degsby.
They're not going to Earth.
Degsby is just there like, I'm such an alcoholic. This is such a problem. It's like, no one mentioned the
Yeah,
Earth
they're
cult.
talking about Degsby a few like days or weeks into their voyage or whatever, and Julian's like, I'm worried about that bishop. He never eats food, and he's just drinking a lot of alcohol.
And he's like coughing up blood.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, he doesn't give me good vibes.
Something's off about that Bishop Degsby. Maybe it's the way he dresses like an evil sorcerer.
I've seen him trying on these black gloves in the mirror, and then whenever I ask him about it, he seems really defensive.
Marinesque says that when he was checking them into the spaceport, he flagged with them that he thinks some other ships are smuggling people to Alliance space.
Oh my god.
Because he's like, they're less likely to suspect people who report these things.
Truly.
It doesn't work. Yulian has a Yang flashback in which Yang says, even if you do your best, there are things that you can't do. Even if you try to reach for things out of your reach, your arms won't get any longer. It's best to leave it to someone who wants to do it. So he's thinking he should trust the expertise of this smuggler man. And I thought all of this was setting up a big betrayal, but it's not.
Yeah. Liam, upon hearing those words, immediately went, unless you eat the gum fruit.
Well, I said unless you're Monkey D. Luffy.
Yeah. Which...
I saw this clip shared via the Hollywood Handbook podcast recently.
Okay.
There's an American baseballer who wears like one-piece iconography emblazoned on his athletic shoes.
Yeah, I know this guy, yeah.
And the commentators are talking about him. And it's one guy like clearly reading some like basic trivia about One Piece, and the other guy just going, like clearly doesn't care. And he's like, now... He wears these shoes from this show One Piece, where the character Monkey D. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King. And I know you are asking me about this. Obviously reading voice. Monkey D. Luffy has the properties of rubber because he ate the gum fruit.
Okay, alright.
And that's basically it. Just like... making such a token effort to talk about this, when obviously neither of them care.
It doesn't come across as the vibe of like a dad who's trying to connect with a son about something so ridiculously where...
No, because neither of them care about it is the thing.
Oh, so neither of them care about the son in this circumstance.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our son, he's reading this comic One Piece, where Monkey D. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King.
Yeah, okay. What do you want me to do with
He wants to overthrow the world government, dear.
Does he? Look, I'll talk to him about it, but I can't guarantee that he's going to be good at baseball.
He's not going to be good at baseball unless I use my credit card to buy more baseballs.
Don't buy more baseball. He's already got
He's
more
not going to
baseball.
win the Steel Ball Run unless we buy more baseballs with our credit card.
Dad, it's me, Joey. Can I get a baseball bat? Oh, son, why do you want
You don't need a bat to play baseball, son. You just need to use your stand.
But how am I going to hit the ball? I need a steel baseball bat.
Our Pan-American accent.
Of course. This is when Joey Joestar in the first episode ordering his baguette at the cowboy bar uses that.
Oh, he uses his baguette as the baseball.
Exactly.
It all comes together.
Exactly.
As the baseball bat, that is to say.
Oh.
Probably uses some sort of like escargot as the ball.
Could you imagine a variant of baseball where it's like, we needed it to...
Food only.
Yeah, food only has to be local in Australia. Meat pies.
Meat pie.
Ooh, what's a long Australian food? Sausage roll. Like long sausage
Democracy
roll.
sausage?
Yeah, long democracy sausage, you know? It's just a chain link of sausages whacking a sausage.
Or one of those, maybe they have these in America too. You get them at like the Royal Show. They're like fried hot doggy things on a stick.
Corn dogs?
Maybe?
They're like deep fried hot dogs, basically.
Yeah.
And they're like big.
On a stick.
On a stick, yeah. Yeah.
Big one of those.
They're like a feet long. I know this because I ordered a lot of foot long corn dogs in America.
Okay, they have them there.
And like, mwah, can I just say?
Are they corn based or are they just corn breaded?
I believe they are just corn breaded.
And there's meat in there.
There is a hot dog.
There's meat in them there, Hills.
Yeah, it's just literally a sausage.
There's meat in them there, dogs.
Now, when I play a baseball, I always use my dog as the bat. Because he's a good boy.
I think there's a One Piece villain who does that.
Wait, what? Oh, God, okay. Is he vile on every level? Because
No,
I get
because
the
the
vibe.
dog can turn into a bat because it ate the bat. Or maybe a bat ate a dog fruit.
Why is there a bat fruit? Anyway, so...
No, I think they put the properties of a dog on a bat, if I'm remembering this correctly. It's whoever Usopp fights in the Alabasta saga, listener.
I'm going to get so many messages about this now. Being like, well, actually, the fruit wasn't eaten. It was subsumed.
It wasn't eaten. It was subsumed through technology onto an inanimate object, if I remember correctly.
Oh my God, what is One Piece?
We
What a
don't
strange
know.
show.
People keep saying to the author of One Piece, so like the One Piece is the power of friendship or the friends you made along the way or some shit, right? And he's like, no, it's a physical object with tangible worth. Why won't anyone believe me? And they're like, because the themes of the thing you've clearly set out say this should be the answer. And he's like, no,
You fucking idiots.
it's treasure.
Listen, why would you put an
The
X?
real treasure is treasure.
Why would you put an X on the map if it was the friends you made along the way? That's fucking nonsensical. Of course it's a big, precious booty.
Now, I know you were asking me about this. Monkey D. Luffy wants to get the One Piece, which I think might be the friends he made along the way.
The fuck is wrong with you? It's a big, booty treasure chest.
Big booty treasure chest, hello.
It ain't the booty fruit. Which is just
Now it's
a
got a
bag.
slamming booty.
Yeah. I mean, when they get there, it'll be like, oh, Luffy, please.
Go on, who's this? What's going on
This
here?
is the One Piece. It's just a big ass chest that's like, Monsieur Luffy, you have found me at last.
Big ass chest. I
Oh.
thought Nami was in the crew all along. Character design in One Piece is incredible. Sorry, female character design in One Piece is incredibly flawed.
Yeah. I've seen those images.
They all look exactly the same.
And they're all fucked. In fact, they're not even that fucked. They're just dumb. Like, it's like you could just fit one hand around Nami's waist at this point and then just crush her. It's just like, why? Like, what? Why?
She looked normal at the start of the show.
Yeah, everyone looked normal at the start of the show. And then they ate the fucking bad art fruit. And then it just went ridiculous.
Carl Willock meets Yuli and is like, hey, it's a small ship, but I'll do my best to get you the hell out of here.
He's kind of like a cool version of the captain.
And they're traveling through space, and Marinescu's expositing like, Fazan does way too much commerce interspatially for them to possibly check every ship, so we'll probably be fine. And then Willock's like, well, I'm not so sure, because goddamn collaborators from Fazan, friggin' traitors to our people, help the Empire by pointing out likely ships. And in fact, that's happening to us right now.
The Empire. So then Yulin gets another flashback from his days with Yang. And Yang's all like, now, always remember this tip, which I, Nick, don't remember.
I don't think this flashback happened.
It has to happen. Otherwise, I'm losing it.
There's
Because
also a
there's a
long
bit
scene,
where-
which I'm not going to talk about in detail because we see it play out next episode, where Lowengram like lays out his battle strategy to
Headed snake.
the two-headed snake to his admirals, and where basically they've got their line formation, and to prevent them from being cut off from their suppliers, like what they did to the Alliance 2 years ago, their plan is to prepare to be attacked in the middle, then encircle them.
Makes sense. So there's no bottom of the snake. There's two heads.
That's right.
Just like the Ouroboros.
Just like Orin from the Never-Ending Story.
Anyway, it's a good plan. And Oberstein is there.
And he neither says nor does anything.
He's just watching.
And then the camera just pans to him at the end of the scene, and it cuts, and he doesn't say anything all episode.
He just, as usual,
Okay.
just looks tired.
So but I still haven't found this alleged flashback in my photo notes, but there's an important scene that I've just skimmed past, where after that meeting, Reinhardt is walking back to his bedroom,
Oh, this bit!
and a little ensign on the ship salutes and says, "Your Excellency." And he's a man with like auburn hair, bright green eyes,
Kirkis.
and Reinhardt looks at him and sees the image of Kirkis over him.
And he's like, Sir,
Your Excellency,
could I have a moment?
please win the war for me.
And Longgrow's like, what's your name, young man? You beautiful stallion.
You there, boy. What's your name?
What? My name is...
Why, I'm Christmas Day, sir.
Oh, what day is it? Oh, Oliver, sir.
His name is Emil von Seckler.
It's a good name, a good powerful name.
And basically, like, Reinhardt dotes on him for a sec. Like, you want me to win the war and capture the universe, do you?
Yes, sir, I do. Because if you don't win the universe...
Because you want me to, I will. And you can go home and tell your family I'm the one who inspired him to win at Rantemario.
It was me all along. I was the one that did it. I let him win. Oh, I'm going to go tell my family I'm not a failure. All right, so long, sir.
Yep.
And then he runs off.
And then we see preparing for the battle from the other perspective, where Bukok and Mr. Sandwich Man, whose name we have fully forgotten, Chung Wu Cheng.
Chung Wu Chang, the second generation bakery.
He didn't eat any sandwiches in either of these episodes. Disgraceful.
What kind of
And
bakery
with
doesn't...
baguettes so much on our mind.
From the very beginning of this episode, we were saying, that bakery, he's going to eat a sandwich.
Yeah, the baker's boy, as we call him.
Yeah, because even, like, if you put a bit of steam on some stale bread, it'll come back to life.
I don't think we mentioned that line of dialogue at all. last podcast.
Oh, so
But
what
that's one of the things he says.
so what you're saying is I said that, and everyone just went, "What the fuck is wrong with me?"
Unlike the rest of the episode, right now we sound crazy.
Well, the rest of the episode, they're like, "Oh, baguettes are a thing." That was just like, if you put steam on old bread, they're like, "Is Nick okay?"
Look, Bukok confers with his Confederates, and as the Empire predicted, they decided to try and hold the line at the Rantemario system because that's an uninhabited system which will minimize civilian risk. But the Empire has like 3 times as many ships and men as them, so it's long odds.
It's like 16 million to 5 million men.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are not good odds, because war's a numbers game.
And yet, even in moments of desperation, sometimes the smaller force can prevail. We've got to talk about Marinesque's space outfit in this scene that we come back to him.
So I sort of mused that he looks like we have Han Solo at home.
Yeah. Well, I think he's dressed like a cowboy.
He really is. Well, he's a smuggler. He's a smuggler captain. He's got to dress fancy.
He's got a white long sleeve shirt on with a tan vest.
It's a Han Solo vest.
Yeah,
it's a sleeveless shirt.
A traditional smuggler's vest.
Yeah,
and then a bright red neckerchief tied over that.
It's so dumb, but fantastic in every way. So the smugglers, they're getting hailed by the Empire.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no, well, we tried, but I guess this is as far as we go. And then Yulian's like, no. But I remember how Yang Wen Li captured Isolone Fortress, and maybe we'll do the exact same thing and it'll work for us. He flashbacks as Nick foretold so many minutes ago.
You know, I don't get things right in order, but I do get everything right.
Historically, for such a lowly job as watching over civilians and controlling collaborators from an occupied power... Oh, and controlling... strange. I don't think I missed a photo there, but that sentence doesn't seem to flow right. For such a lowly job as watching over civilians and controlling collaborators from an occupied power are more meticulous than those of the occupying power. As we saw in Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, when Fidola and her Skull Brigade, or whatever they were Alamigo-raised soldiers of the Garlean occupation, who were the cruelest to their own people.
Same.
Scumbags, all of them.
Absolutely.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no
and you don't care.
Yeah. We don't need to buy Liam more Final Fantasy subscriptions.
I gotta play Dawn Trail soon. The beach is calling my name.
So, in something that I can only call mildly hilarious, but also completely understandable, and I empathize with it entirely, is that before recording you were saying that you like to buy Final Fantasy games on both PC and
not
on
Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 14 in particular.
Because if you're doing solo, you like to sit on the couch.
And just do the story and watch the cutscenes.
But if you want to hang, you want to go on PC, so you can do some Discord stuff.
And if I'm doing dungeons, I want to have more precise gameplay that the keyboard and mouse can afford.
Yeah. Which when I heard that, went, that's fucking insane, why would anyone do that? And then I thought about it for half a minute and went, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah. Yeah. Yikes.
You've only got to pay the subscription once. That would be a deal breaker for me.
But you have to buy the discs twice.
But only if I wanted... theoretically, if I were to start playing Dawn Trail on my computer today, I could still play Final Fantasy XIV on my PlayStation. I just couldn't access any of the Dawn Trail specific content.
Because you haven't bought it on PlayStation.
Yeah, which is dumb, but I could work around it.
Yeah, you would just specifically do certain other things.
I would just do market shit or go to my Endwalker private island and farm resources or whatever.
Yeah. You could just move the couch into your room.
You know my couch and you know my room and you know that's not possible.
A man can dream, you know? I think if you did it right, you could pull it off. You could absolutely pull it off.
Listeners, I just have too many large, sumptuous furniture objects. They couldn't all possibly fit in the same room.
I know you love your...
My fine ivory objects.
Your 30-foot modular. But you could fit it through this door. You'd have no fucking problem. Look at this door. This fine...
Yeah, then where would it go?
Next to the boudoir.
And the ottoman?
Well, I mean, that's a bit, it's a bit on the nose. But maybe next to the
anyway, this
David?
is bad audio.
Yeah, maybe next to the David, I think.
Oh, my David?
Yeah, you're David,
Liam's David?
Yeah. it's
I'm Michelangelo, it's mine.
Yeah, it's just this big slab. It's just a big, obelisk slab.
I haven't really started it yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be my David.
Yeah. You took 2 chips out of it, I see, since the last time I saw it.
Well, I was getting peckish.
It's just a...
I used my beak to peck at it. I was getting peckish.
Could you imagine just a big, like, rectangular prism of cheese that you have somewhere, and you're like, bit hungry today. Like in the kebab store, they have the spinning thing of meat.
Yeah.
It's just that, but of cheese.
Oh, I was going to imagine, when Bart Simpson takes a bite out of the big Rice Krispie square.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine?
Anyway,
so they're smuggling away.
Look, listeners, it might seem like we're meandering, but the second episode is all battle, and we're not going to spend a lot of time just dryly recounting tactics.
There's literally,
so don't worry.
There's 5 things that happen in that episode, and they're pretty easy to recount.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, so long story short, the Fazanis pretend to have taken Yulian and Mashengo hostage and hail the Empire ship that's coming to search them, being like, we caught these Alliance officers, and they show them on the video screen, roughed up, gun to their heads, so we want to turn them over to you. And then when they go to do the prisoner transfer, it's classic Chewie and the Binders on the Death Star.
In that they kind of half show up, they show up in handcuffs, and they're like...
And they get close, and they're like, let's transfer the prisoners. And then Yulian, smirks and, flexes his wrists, and the Binders pop off, and he just punches the guy out. Mashengo takes on, 2 more guys, and then...
the last guy, though, he has a gun.
Oh, no.
Mashengo's going to get shot to death.
Oh, no.
Except that our boy, sweet blondie boy... Carl Willock, pulls out his gun and shoots him back.
Pew. And once again, we love the lasers in this show.
Yeah, they are truly wonderful. And then he gives a little sly smile. That little Willock gives a sly bloody smile.
Now we've captured this Empire ship, and we have to destroy ours, and it's sad, but we've got insurance.
Yeah, so that'll be fine.
Yep.
And then they just leave.
They leave. They escape Fazan, and Yulian's like, wow, I sure really didn't achieve much when I went there.
Yeah, I came, I saw, and really didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much a quote.
Yep. Next episode is a banger.
Yeah, great episode. Not going to be good to recap, but great to watch.
Nothing happens. Except, everything happens, but nothing actually happens.
So it is Bukok and Baker's Boy commanding the on the back foot Alliance forces against the Imperial Army, mostly personified by Mittermeier.
At the head of the snake.
Yep. No, in the body, the middle of the body, which is the head.
The body of the snake, which is the head.
Lowengram at the front.
At the head of the snake.
And Bittenfeld and his Black Lancers, who are, they're one of the forces held back to assist the snake where needed.
Back at the head of the snake.
No.
Yeah. So basically they're coming in, and Bukok knows that, there's just not enough men.
I have confirmation, Nick. Helden Sargon von Kosmosinsel.
I told you it came up on this app. I knew it. Helden Sargon von Kosmosinsel. Helden Sargon von Kosmenspiel.
Kosmensinsel. Listener, say it with me. Wherever you are, on the train, in your workplace.
As loud as you possibly can.
Helden Sargon von Kosmosinsel.
I don't want to say it out loud. It sounds really weird. It sounds very...
Well, the Reich fleet is approaching.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about any of it.
Screen, the Reichsflot, and there's no way of knowing what that means.
So it's Reichs versus democracy. It's snakes versus snails in this battle of democracy.
Also assisting Bukok is Lieutenant Commander Soons Solzkrita, whose name we still can't pronounce.
With a strange name.
Yes.
Who got his position because everyone else died.
Yeah, they all had heart attacks or aneurysms or whatever.
Oh, I love the fact that all of them just started dying.
The Alliance isn't doing well.
Well, they don't have enough men because they all died.
Well, no one just spontaneously dies this episode. They're all murdered in battle.
But one of them could have spontaneously died.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
We'll get to that. Once again, that thing almost happened.
Oh, God, I love this show. It's just... We did get a very nice Patreon message from someone who, apparently it's their birthday. Happy birthday to them.
Are you going to name them?
Absolutely. They know who the fuck they are. But they said...
Okay.
But they did say... I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Fuck me.
But point being, all is well. Everything's great. It's fine.
We can't remember what they said, and we're going to say who they are.
Oh, I remember that.
But they did message us.
They did like this...
Proof of life.
They did like this show because of the sheer amount of dudes just, being like, well, time to die.
It's the melodrama move of all of these commanders, where it's like, I've been defeated, so now I must take my own life because my army is dead, so now I am dead.
Yeah. And it's just like everything's so over the top. I love it. I love it so much.
It.
So this battle, there's not much that really happens.
Look, yeah. It's I don't really see the point in like recounting beat by beat everything that happens, but I like how like we get a bunch of captions as we cut to new scenes. Like it's the 8th of February. The most of this thing takes place on a bit into the 9th.
Yep.
But like we start at 1:45 p.m. 13:45, and we go from there.
Yep.
And basically, as they predicted, the Alliance try to attack Mittermeier's block in the center of the snake.
And Mittermeier's like, attack them the fuck back.
Yeah, and there's various attempts to like wedge each other's formations that they respond to, and eventually Boocock and Sandwich Boy come to the conclusion that they don't need to win and they can't win, but if they fight to not lose, they might be able to hold out until Yang's fleet arrives.
Truly, the best way to win is just not to lose.
Yeah. I'm just skimming through my photo notes for any other particular highlights. There is a bit where Fahrenheit, the white-haired man who defected from the High Noble forces after their loss, he's like, oh, we can sneak around the side and attack them from behind. Oh no, we're caught in the space current.
So...
The space current.
The space current is something like all the debris...
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the... exposition.
Yeah.
Please keep going.
It's like all the debris from all the exploded ships are now being sucked into the gravitational field of the planet.
Yeah.
But it's not going directly backwards into the planet. It's going in like a circle around the planet because they're in orbit maybe with the planet. But it's making a big current sideways.
But it's hazardous, pointedly.
Yeah. It's making a big current sideways for some reason.
Yeah. There are a lot of shots of as ships blow up of just like men catching on fire, and so, again, this show can be surprisingly visceral sometimes.
It's oddly brutal, this episode.
And I would say this is some of the least abstracted space combat we've seen. Like we do get the big like coloured triangles on the space maps, but we are seeing ships fly around and like shoot each other too.
Yeah, with a lot of lasers. There's some great bits where even like Boocock is saying, "Hey, use our dead ships for cover."
Yeah, I was going to get to that later. But
so they're like literally weaving between
they
ships.
start doing like guerrilla warfare in the open field of space, which I thought was pretty nice. But there's a lot of like concentrate your fire on their right flank and aim at the capital ship type stuff.
3:45. Well, we've been at it for an hour. What do we do?
Yeah.
Continue firing. 4 p.m. We've been at it for an hour and 15 minutes. What do we do? It's a lot of that.
And a lot of shots of mostly like pretty much unnamed ships commanders silhouetted against the field of space, like swinging their arms silently as like a montage of orders being given. Okay, so
the space current.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Fahrenheit takes his ship and tries to attack the Alliance forces from behind. Like, what's going on? So it's the energy released by the ship debris of both forces. So it's like their engine vapor and whatever space technology powers their ships.
All the stuff.
Yeah. It's being pulled into Rantemario's gravity, forming a current. And so I guess both the gravitational force, the energy itself, whatever that is, and the physical like jetsam of the ships forms a hazardous field that's tricky to traverse through.
Yeah. So what I don't understand, like I perfectly understand, a lot of debris, a lot of like fuel just in the air, in space, because there's no air in space. Because no one can hear you scream. So what I don't understand is in the diagram they have, it's like you've got force A pointing force B.
Yeah, you've got orange triangles pointing at blue triangles.
And they're opposing each other exactly towards each other, right? And then perpendicular to them is the space current.
Yeah.
Why is it perpendicular?
No, I'm looking at it now. So it starts between them, which is where their lines would have been intersecting and battling happen.
Yeah.
And then it's gradually moving rightward and then falling back towards where the planet is.
Oh, it is falling rightward.
Yeah.
So my question, why is it not just going that way?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah. Look, in space, no one can physics.
Things in space move in circles.
Mysterious ways.
Right? Things in space move in circles. Orbits.
Tell me more. Tell me more
Orbits.
about. Yeah, things orbit. Yes.
Things orbit in space.
Do you know why they orbit?
Because of gravity.
Correct.
And I learned about gravity from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean.
No, so the way gravity...
We're not doing this. We're not doing
it. Should
centrifugal force.
No! It should just go towards...
Centripetal force.
Closer? It's like the way it works is that it should just go towards the big mass object, right? But instead, it's doing an orbit, kinda, before falling into the planet. But where's it getting the down bit from? I don't know.
I mean, the ships are all moving before they blew up, I guess.
Maybe, but like then they'd all be moving with the current, so then it's like, oh, well, they'll just go around it.
Anyway, the point is there's a space current which is effectively guarding the Alliance's flank.
And they're holding on to that defense stalwartly.
Yes. Fahrenheit tries to cross it, and then like some of his ships get blown up, and he's like, "Oh, this is a bad idea. Better retreat." And that's his whole role in the episode.
Yep. I think at one point they shoot off some fighters.
Yeah, the Alliance launch one of their gambits to hold out for longer is to launch all of their fighters. There's so much from the Imperial forces being like, should we respond to this tactic? No, our victory is certain. We only have to keep doing what we're doing.
The fools.
So they don't launch their own fighters in response, but what we see the Alliance fighters start to do is not try to destroy enemy ships, but instead just take out the engines of the forward rank so that they're blocking so that they're not in a advantageous firing position themselves and are blocking the fire of the rear ranks of the Imperial ships, buying time.
It's ironic. They didn't want to muddy up the sight lines by sending their own fighters, and then the firing lines would be hazardous. But now, they can't even fire at all.
Exactly. And so then I guess they get a space tug out and move those ships back.
Yeah. Really makes you think.
Does it?
Well, yeah, because war
makes tugs of us all.
Yeah. War makes you tug at your own petard.
I learned about this from the podcast Bunta Vista a while back. It was recently retired in the last couple of years, but there used to be a tug in Queensland called the Forceful. So you would say,
the Forceful?
It's just, ships have names.
Oh, okay.
So it was the Forceful Tug.
God damn it. God damn it.
We love a tug here at JoJo's.
How many of those dumb names do you think they have on ships?
So many.
Because it's one of those industries where, like, you don't have a lot of fun, but then when you get to have fun, it's rife, right? It's like naming a horse in racing. It's like you don't have much fun in horse racing because everyone's like, okay, we got to train, we got to get you on the horse, we got to feed the horse, we got to do all that.
The horse was slightly suboptimal, better take it out back and shoot it.
Exactly. But then the one bit of fun you can have is, well, what are we going to name the horse? And it's like, I'm going to name this horse Long.
I'm going to name this horse Columbo, Season 1, Episode 2.
Like, it's that stuff. I imagine in, sailing or whatever, they're just like, what are we going to name this ship? And they're like, well, it's a dinghy, so why don't we call it the Unreliable? And everyone's like, that's funny. Smash the champagne bottle. And then they chink. Yeah.
Eventually, Lowengram gives the orders for Bittenfeld's Black Lancers to do a full-on assault, and they go through the space current incredibly successfully.
Yeah, they just do it.
They blow up. Sandwich Boy uses his computers to predict exactly where they'll emerge from the current, accounting for the drift of it and all that. And they're like, do a
pinpoint attack
as soon as they emerge, and they do. But then the Black Lancers, supplemented by Mittermeier's own forces,
turns out it's a numbers game.
Counter attack in even greater effort, and so there are so many explosions that all of space fills up with white cartoon smoke.
And then we just get the knowledge that the fleet has basically just been decimated.
Yep. And Bukok is like, I need to go to my room for a while now for normal reasons.
Won't you excuse me, gentlemen?
Yep. And he walks into his office. He opens his drawer. There's a diary and a gun.
And
I said, oh no. And then he pulls out the diary. And I was like, oh, thank God. I thought he was going to pull out the gun. Then he pulls out the gun.
And literally you went, oh no, we
are.
Okay.
Once
so
again.
Good.
And then he's going to shoot himself in the head with his gun. But then Sandwich Boy walks in and is like, sir, don't kill yourself, because if the Empire win and they hold war crime trials, we need to go to the firing squad to protect the people beneath us.
because they're going to use like them as scapegoats. They're
Yeah,
going to
if
get
we're dead, they
Yeah.
want to put someone on trial.
exactly. They're going to find someone and they're going to use that. You know, it's like drug cartels use randos and then pull their bodies up and they're like, oh, you think they deserved it, but actually it's just randos.
What are you talking about?
Talking about Sicario,
Okay.
which is a movie by Denis Villeneuve, who did Dune, which, as we all know, is a cinematic masterpiece. Because Dune, big worms
Big worm.
in the sand. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Sandworms are like the baguettes of the desert.
Sol Sozen Critter is listening to this conversation outside of Bukok's cabin.
Solsning critter?
That might mean something later, but we don't know if it does now.
Well, I think he probably just heard it and was like, fuck, we are going to lose. And we are going to have war crime trials. And we are going to have to be killed off.
Long story short, a mysterious fleet begins to approach, and an Imperial ship hails them, but they just respond with open fire.
Oh my god, who could it possibly be?
Oh my
They've
God.
approached from the rear. Who would this be? Such trickster tactics could only be one man. That's
Yang
right.
Wenli.
So Yang's there and he's all like, if only I was here half an hour earlier, I
Yeah.
could have saved this whole damn fleet.
I think he says half a day, but yeah, same principle.
Yeah.
Mittenmeyer calls up Reinhardt on the video phone to apologize for being taken by surprise by the Yang fleet, and he's like, hey, don't worry about it, Mittenmeyer, you're a good egg. No one except that trickster could pull this off so effectively. And so the Alliance retreat towards the Barrett system, or planet Barrett, and the Imperial forces withdraw to reorient themselves and take over another nearby planet to use as a staging ground for their subsequent invasions.
Just somewhere completely different.
There's a really good shot of Yang staring at so it's a close-up on first his left eye, that is to say on the right side of his face when we're looking at him.
Yep.
And we just see reflected in the mirror of his eyes, all of the glittering lights of the spaceships that we've seen so much throughout this episode. Then we slowly just pan over, I'd say about 30 seconds, to the right side of his face, where we see the same thing in his other eye.
But it's just stars this time, right?
No, it's the same.
Never mind. The glittering stars of space are actually just enemies.
It's so true.
And he's like, it'd be arrogant of me to think that I could have saved them.
And he's thinking to himself, at least we avoided the worst case scenario. I should be satisfied with that.
Yeah, as I would be. If I was a magician, I'd be pretty happy with that.
And then he says, man, I'm really working overtime. Let's get to Hyacinth.
They must really think that I'm worth more than they're paying me.
And that's... Oh, and then Julian's,
Ship
Captain
shows up.
Destroyer
Yep.
links up with another Alliance ship. And that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
So, Nick,
Yes.
highlights, lowlights,
My highlight is actually just going to be the entirety of Bukok holding out.
pretty good.
Because, every time it's like, oh, okay, they're going to lose now. They just find another tactic that's like, ooh,
Little
that's,
tricksy.
yeah, that's very clever, isn't it? Oh, that's fun. But just every single one of those didn't feel like a cheap trick either. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, so they know they're going to lose, but they're desperately biding time. How are they going to do it? And it's like, ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Well, this is fun. I just liked all of them. They were all great.
Yeah, it all felt very earned.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was nice to see Bukok do something on screen for the first time.
Yeah, that wasn't shooting himself in the head.
Yeah. My highlight is probably the little move Julian and Mashengo pulled to escape capture by the Empire.
Isolone 2.0.
Yeah. I thought that was just a fun little gambit, and it worked well, and it was entertaining to watch.
Turns out we like gambits on
We
this show.
love a gambit.
Yeah.
Hello, it's me, Gambit.
Oh my god, it all comes back to
I
the
like
Pan
her to
Americans.
use... this is... What is that, a Cajun accent? Is that what Gambit is?
No, Cajuns. No. Gambit is French.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's
Gambit
like...
from X-Men?
Yeah.
He's French.
Isn't he? I thought he was from, Louisiana or something.
No, he's absolutely
Which has
French.
French ancestry.
Ah, there you go. Maybe.
Fact check.
I'm pretty sure Gambit is L24.
Fascinating construction there, Nick.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Blah, blah, blah.
But what country is he from? Curse this wiki and its overusage of detailed information.
His
without
full
getting
name
to
is
the point.
Remy Etienne Lebeau.
It could be from Louisiana.
Notable aliases: Le Diable Blanc, Robert Lord, Ragin Cajun.
Wait. Hang on. So here's three
Yeah, he's from
names.
New Orleans.
He's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fiercely proud of his heritage and speaks both Cajun English and Louisiana French.
There you go. Oh, I always thought it was Francois.
Well,
Fuck me.
in the same way that the Quebecois are en François.
The who?
The Quebecois from Canada?
The Quebec.
From Quebec?
The Quebec lads. Did they?
My lowlight was... tough. These were ultimately two good episodes.
They were good. Lowlight. I think I know what my low light is.
Is it Burcock pulling that gun out of his desk?
No, that's definitely that's
Okay,
a
your
notable.
low light is the space current.
No, that wasn't going to be my low light because
Okay.
I actually kind of liked it.
Okay.
My low light is Dominique and Rubinsky.
Ooh.
I know, hot take
Look,
here,
I understand.
but I'm wrong.
No, but it's like I just really enjoy anytime Rubinsky's on screen. He's such an asshole.
I mean, why? I mean, look, he is the fox that plays the fiddle but rarely takes the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just thought that whole exchange was very like, so you know I didn't want to kill your son. It's like, oh, I did. Okay, so what are you going to do now? It's like, I don't know. So, all right. Well, here we are then.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
for this
the whole
episode.
conversation is like, so what are you thinking? Oh, I'm not really thinking that much. I'm
Yeah,
just drinking.
and I like that the lead into it was, I wonder what Rubinsky's doing right now. Oh, yeah, I'm having a drink.
This is like,
I'm having kind of some bitter sniping with my lover.
to be fair, it is the most realistic depiction of whenever anyone goes, I wonder what that guy's doing
It's
right
like that
now.
Simpsons thing where it's like, who knows what evil thoughts are in Sideshow Bob's head right now. I wonder if they still make that shampoo I like.
Yeah. Like, if anyone ever thought to themselves, I wonder what Nick's doing right now, there's a 90% chance I'm like,
Da, 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 da.
yeah, it's like, do I have to, like, drain my washing machine?
Manually?
Or, like, can I just leave the water in it? Because, like, it's reused.
What's going
so
on
it's,
with your washing machine?
well, like, at the bottom of it, it has all the water in it, and you have to drain
Oh,
it every
yeah,
now and
anyway,
then.
yep.
And I'm like, but do I have to do it now? Can I leave it for now? Or, like, is there...
My low light, I think, ultimately was like the zero space of time between, hey, Yulian, you should leave your gun here. I wish I had my gun.
Oh, yeah, true. But he's not a terrorist. He's not going to kill Prince Lowengrab.
Or an occultist.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know
for
that he has.
sure.
He hasn't signed a dark pact with ethereal powers.
True. At any moment, the Earth Cult could be revealed as, like,
Having actual magic.
yeah, having actual magic, and we'd be like, you know what? Sure.
The signs were there.
Yeah. We knew all along they had big orbs in their big orb facilities. We just didn't know what was up with them.
Okay, so, Nick. Yang Wen Li. He's back on the field.
Yes.
He really wants to fight Prince Lowengrab. Will our two main characters finally interact?
No, absolutely not.
What will happen next time on Legend of the Galactic Heroes in the episodes entitled
I really hope it's not called Lowengram versus Wenley. That'd be really awkward.
The Darkness Before Dawn and Battle After Battle.
The Darkness Before Dawn. So, Darkness Before Dawn sounds like it'll be like an Empire-centric episode.
Okay.
Because it'll be like, hey, these rebel scum are holding us
See,
back.
I'm taking the exact opposite thinking where,
Oh.
you know, the phrase, it's always the darkest before the dawn. You know, the Alliance are being pushed back, you know, do we have any hope?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah. I reckon it's going to be the Empire, like, it'll be from the Empire side of, we just need to keep getting more planets and then we'll
We're just
slowly
going to keep making
dominate
it
them.
darker before the dawn.
Yeah, exactly. So, or maybe they take some losses and then Lowengram pulls it out and he's all like, yep, I won this battle.
Lowengrab pulls it out
Yeah, absolutely. He's just like, well, look.
in public.
I mean, absolutely. Wouldn't you? I mean, this is, you know, Empire's new clothes.
The
or whatever.
Kaiser can actually pull it out whenever he wants to.
So it'll just be the Empire goes to, like, take over a planet somewhere, but then they face heavy resistance. And then Lowengram's like, I will not be taken over by, you know, some weak-willed rebel scum who think they can beat me. And then he'll, you know...
Pull out his lightsaber.
Exactly. And he'll do some weird space tactics and then he'll win. And then it'll just be like an anthology of him taking things over. And meanwhile...
And cutting to, like, Bukok being like, it's getting darker and darker
Exactly.
before the dawn.
Exactly. But, yeah, I reckon it'll be something like that.
And obviously we know from the title of the second of the two episodes, the
gonna be a
war
lot
is
of
going to
battles.
keep going for a while.
Yeah, I reckon it'll just be like a bunch... It might be like vignettes of battles.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe like 5-minute battles from each of the
Yeah.
different admiralty or something.
Yeah, maybe we'll pass like 6 months in the space of an episode or something.
Yeah. Quite probably. That'd be my thoughts.
Yeah.
That'd be what I think. is gonna
Shenkop
happen.
dies off screen.
Could you imagine? Oh, they wouldn't do that to
What
us.
would the beautiful women of Alliance Space do without him?
Die.
They'll pick up their guns, raise them to the head.
Who's the artist guy? Not Mecklinger.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it Mecklinger?
The Artistic Admiral.
Yeah.
I think that's Mecklinger. Look, I mean,
Maybe he
other
dies.
than that one scene, he still has never said or done anything of import, so...
But damn, was that a scene. Like, he could paint some paint, you know?
Alright, well, we'll find out all of that and more next time on JoJo's World. Until then, TBC.